The death toll continues to rise in Pakistan from devastating floods. Authorities report at least 50 deaths in the deluge-hit Sindh province in recent days. More than 1,200 people have died in the past weeks. Satellite imagery shows the scale of the flooding, which has affected about a third of the country. There are now concerns the country's crop of wheat could be wiped out, affecting food supply. Officials say the record monsoon rains and melting glaciers are being caused by climate change. Pakistan has appealed for more international aid, and the country's largest charity, the Edhi Foundation, has urged the government to reverse a ban on many international NGOs to allow them to help.
The evidence of former lives lies scattered throughout this vast rural area, now underwater. These used to be people's homes, but now are largely submerged or destroyed. Those displaced by the floods are flocking to this camp in the Sindh province, searching for food, medicine and a place to stay. Many of them don't have to think too much about their priorities.
The whole town is underwater. Nothing could be saved. There's no food available, no rice, no vegetables. There's nothing here. All that the people worry about is food. Many say they don't even care about getting tents. Only food.
The camp has an improvised hospital which is accepting people without charge. Volunteer doctors try to do what they can to relieve the suffering of the sick.
We provide cannula and drip, as most patients who come here suffer from diarrhea, malaria, high-grade fever and skin problems. At our outpatient department, 5 to 6 doctors treat 700 to 800 patients every day.
These makeshift tents are filling up quickly, with most of the locals having nowhere else to go. Setting up for an even more uncertain life, they briefly sum up what happened to them in the last few weeks.
There was 100% loss for our crops. Nothing could be saved as far as the crops are concerned. Rice, cotton, vegetables and fruits, all have been destroyed.
As the aid groups step up their efforts, they, as well as Pakistan's government, are appealing to the world for more help for the devastated communities. But for now, all that these desperate people can do is to stick to such camps on the few remaining patches of dry land.
We'll go to Islamabad now and speak to Adil Shiraz, the country director at the aid organization CARE International in Pakistan. Thank you for joining us. You just returned from the southwestern province of Balochistan, which has been hit by the worst of the flooding. What was the situation like there?
I would say the situation is extremely challenging because a large population is affected from this flood. During our recent visit to the different parts of Pakistan, including Balochistan and Sindh, we have seen villages are washed away, and there is a large destruction which has happened out of this flooding in terms of crops which are destroyed, the bridges which are washed away, roads are washed away, and also people have lost shelter, livestock and livelihood on which they were dependent. So there are affected areas which has been hard hit from this flooding, and there's a large population who have lost all the basic things which they need to live a healthy life.
And the authorities are reporting 33 million people affected. 90% of them haven't received any assistance yet. What's most needed in terms of aid, and how does it get to people?
The area in terms of geographical coverage is quite big. Like, we are talking about 33 million people who are affected. At least 72 districts are affected in this emergency. So this is really a large coverage we are talking about. More and more aid organization and government is reaching out to these affected areas and providing assistance. But we all need to understand we are talking about a large population. At this stage, the most important needs are food, the shelter which is required, At the same time, sanitation facilities are either very limited or they don't exist. In terms of gender in emergency, organization like CARE is working a lot on that. We do see emergency in terms of what are the gender needs in that area, and we do feel there are a lot of support which is required for the female population in the affected area, including making sure that they get the menstrual hygiene kit. They need sanitation facilities which are near to where they are living so that it can minimize the risk of security. We also need to ensure that there is clean drinking water available in these areas. We are hearing and also witnessing more and more waterborne diseases which are coming, including diarrhea, malaria, skin diseases, and others. And all of that require an immediate support and need. Aid workers like us and also other organizations are reaching out to these affected population. But at the same time, logistically, this operation is challenging because of still water in certain area, which is making supplies and aid workers to reach out to these population in a more time as compared to before.
Well, sir, it just sounds like an incredibly challenging and tragic situation. Given that, why isn't the government allowing some of these banned foreign NGOs from working again in the country?
There are a large number of international organizations already in country, and the government, I would say, have been very positive about giving them permission to work in these affected areas. There is a mechanism available to apply and allow for the new organization to come in country. And I think as long as they can complete the requirement, there will be more and more organizations can come into the country. But organizations like us, we have seen very positive response from the government side in terms of providing access, in terms of providing permission to work in these affected population areas. So I can say fairly that organizations are getting support which are in country. The newer organization or organization who were working before in country, they need to just use the right channel to apply for permission to work in country. And I'm sure there will be facilitation from the government side.
Okay, message received. Adil Shiraz, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.